Warning, the Wretched Eye strike is spoiled in its entirety in this video. If you do not wish to see any gameplay of the strike, turn off this video right now. The new strike in Rise of Iron is called the Wretched Eye. The Devil's Lair and Summoning Pits are also getting reworked and sort of re-released for Rise of Iron. Today I have some gameplay of the Wretched Eye along with one of your first looks at the mind control artifact, which turned out to be pretty funny but maybe not the most effective thing in the world. Before we continue, I'd like to thank Activision for sending me up to check out Rise of Iron early. As a reminder, this is from an early build of Rise of Iron, and not everything you see here is absolutely final. So what's actually going on in the Wretched Eye? Well, you're going to investigate a splicer priest who's been doing some weird stuff to the Hive. Basically, you gotta shut that whole operation down before the devils have a chance to infect the Hive with Siva in order to control them. Please note that my impressions are based on the level 38 version of the strike, not the heroic version, although I do not anticipate any differences between the normal and heroic versions. The Wretched Eye in terms of pacing and gameplay is going to feel really familiar to every other strike in the game. The new thing that Bungie is trying with the Wretched Eye and possibly the other remastered strikes is the fact that there are multiple paths that you'll have the chance to go down. So it's similar to what happened with Year 2 where strikes had a chance to spawn different kinds of enemies. This time it'll spawn certain paths. However, of the 2 times that I got to do the strike, I took the same path both times, so I couldn't really tell you how different the paths ended up being. However, when I spoke with someone who did take the alternate path, they said it was basically the same experience, same Siva enemies, just slightly different geometry. You still end up fighting the same boss at the very end, and you start at the same spot at the start. So, I guess that's a step in a direction. Also, I tried out the mind control artifact, and it was pretty fun to use, but probably not something you're going to want to use with any sort of seriousness. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's an artifact that's coming out where if you hit an enemy with a melee attack, it has a chance to be mind controlled for up to 30 seconds. It doesn't proc all the time though, so most of the time, you're just going to end up slapping enemies to death before you finally end up mind controlling them, and it only works on red health bar enemies. So you're really only going to want to try to get stuff like servitors and captains, at least in terms of fallen, stuff that will actually dish out a lot of damage or will survive a while you bash its face in with your fist. The problem that I had with the strike is that it didn't bother to take any risks at all. It is still the same strike experience that you have had with every other strike in the game, down to how long it will take to do. On the other hand, Rise of Iron maybe wasn't the time to take risks, since if they took a risk and it didn't work out or people didn't like it, it would be the only new thing that we got, so people wouldn't want to play the new stuff. Then again, we are getting reworks of 2 strikes, but I don't anticipate them to be anything radically different either, although I hope I'm wrong. When I first saw the final boss, I thought there would be some cool dynamics with the Hive Ogre that's in the arena along with the Splicer Priest, but nope, the Ogre just runs around while immune trying to kill you with his fists, while the priest teleports on occasion and shoots you with his gun. Is it hectic? Sure. Is it interesting? Not really. However, not everyone has a problem with that. I know that. Some people just want to be able to blast through strikes and kill stuff. I can totally respect that. I hope eventually we see an even higher tier strike playlist, like something at max light level or just something to utilize them a little bit more at higher levels. Right now they are used for farming Vanguard packages, which, at least to me, isn't really that thrilling. Once again, I know that not everyone really cares about something like this, but I know I wouldn't mind seeing something like more challenging versions of strikes for the people who want it. I also think that something like the Echo Chamber, which is the PlayStation exclusive strike currently, really ended up working out in terms of like having an interesting boss fight with mechanics and stuff. It's not really that difficult, but it's interesting. There's planning and certain maneuvers you need to do and things you need to look out for. It's fun, and it's the closest thing we've had to what I would enjoy in a strike experience. I know I wouldn't mind Bungie getting a little more saucy with their strikes, you know, but probably as an option and not the standard. There's definitely more that Bungie can do with strikes, and I hope they experiment a little bit more in the future. Anyway, that is my commentary on the new strike, the Wretched Eye. I'm going to show the strike in its entirety if you're interested in watching a full run. Otherwise, I'm going to head out. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
One less splicer or hive to be warped by Siva.
Noted. I'm picking up several concentrated Siva nodes ahead.
The splicers are using Siva to augment the silo's old defense protocols. They've got the inner doors sealed tight. If you want to get inside, you'll need to find and destroy those Siva nodes.
I've pinpointed another Siva node. Sending to your hub. This door won't budge until we destroy any nearby Siva nodes. Picking up one more node. Let's go get it. That's the last node. Security protocols are clear and hackable.
Push forward, Guardian.
Looks like the Hive aren't giving up on this territory without a fight.
Doesn't matter. Go through them.
Let's go.
'em. 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 'em.
pinging new SIVA energy spikes below us. Multiple nodes, all powering another barrier. But I can't nail down their locations. The readings are too sporadic.
You know what to do, Guardian. Find those nodes, unload on them, and keep moving.
It's hard to get a clean reading down here. Keep moving. The closer we get to each node, the easier they are to map. Looks like the splicers have taken this hatchery. The high bioorganic architecture is still intact, but there are microbursts of SIVA activity all around us.
Used to be the Fallen would attack for resources, for survival, revenge. To invade a hive nest like this, SIVA's changed them.
All right, still getting strong SIVA readings. There must be another node. That did it. No idea what those nodes were protecting, but the barrier's down.
You're all that stands between the Splicer's High Priest and whatever mad science he's cooking up down there. End this.
This doesn't look good.
Did you find the High Priest?
Not exactly. Let's get a closer look at that thing. That ogre is... Well, that's disgusting.
A lot more where that came from if the High Priest isn't removed from the field.
What a mess. The High Priest wasn't looking to build a hive slave army. He was just removing their body parts to be joined with Siva.
Bioengineering's become the Splicer's main MO. We're lucky to have dropped their High Priest before he could perfect any of this madness, but it's gotta make you wonder. What other perversions are they planning?